Alright. Welcome back everyone dito sa latest episode ng Quadcom. My God, been a month. Sobrang na-miss ko itong mga kasama natin dyan. Pauwi na from dinner. Lahat ng mga kausap ko, di pa ako nag-breakfast. But hopefully, I'm gonna be, naka-ano na ako, naka-bunker mode na ako, naka-armored na ako eh. I mean, hindi ko alam kung makauwi pa ako sa Pilipinas. Just a drone, I think, hit the Dubai International Airport. So I don't know what's gonna happen to my Emirates flight. Baka naman yung mga gusto magbigay ng birthday gift, pwede nila ako bilhin ng ticket from another direction. Napakamahal ang mga tickets na. But, God willing, hopefully, as we move towards some sort of ceasefire or something, Middle East, uwi na rin ako sa Pilipinas. Miss na miss ko ang Pilipinas, especially itong mga guests at kasama natin. Bro, what's up, superstar, bro? I'm such a big fan of your stuff, aside from the great guys, Justice Scorpion, Ronald, but you're also bringing Nikki. You're bringing the Bisaya vloggers, super extraordinaire. Bro, great job. What's going on? Tell me about it. Bago
Well,
tayo
alam mo,
pumunta sa mga manyakis. Women's Day eh. So let's
women's month
celebrate
nga
all
eh.
these great women. Yeah.
Alam mo kasi ngayon nakikita ko talagang sobrang importante yung mas maging malawak at mas marami pang tao na nagsasalita, especially yung mga kababaihan, bigyan ng boses yung mga kababaihan at hindi lang yon, yung ating mga kababayan down south. So, nung na-discover ko tong si Lovely Granada, yung ating Bisaya vlogger, ano, maano siya, matapang siyang bumanat at ginagawa niya to lahat in Bisaya. Kaya pakinggan mo yung banat niya tungkol kay Suntay. Ito yung ganito bumanat ang mga Bisaya pagdating sa mga ganitong issue. And maanghang sila magsalita, by the way. Maanghang talaga magsalita ang mga Bisaya. And yan ang kailangan natin ng mga vloggers para siguro para lumawak nga ang pananaw ng mga tao down south. Hindi lang kasi dapat mga taga Manila o mga Tagalog speaking ang nagsasalita. We all have to speak as one country. And we all have our different dialects. At ito yung pagkakataon natin.
Can you tell me a little bit about yung episode nyo together and also with Nikki and all? I mean, honestly, we don't need to give voice to anyone. They already have a voice. It's just a matter of us collaborating more together, diba?
Yeah, well, the important thing kasi is, Richard, we have a bigger platform right now. At you want to share that audience with them para mas marami sa ating audience sa makakilala sa kanila at ikakalat din yung informasyon na yun to let's say our audience has friends in Davao, in Cebu, in other areas in Mindanao. Then sabihin na, uy, pakinggan mo to, and then they're gonna share the profile of these vloggers. So, ano nangyari, even with Lovely, tumaas yung kanyang social media following by several thousand right after we posted the episode. I was really happy to see that. At ngayon, nakikita natin yung epekto nun, Richard, that maraming mga DDS na Bisaya na lumalabas ngayon na sinasabi, Bisaya ako, hindi ako DDS. Gusto na nga nila gumawa ng mga t-shirts para pagmalaki yung pagiging Bisaya nila at hindi DDS. May mga iba naman dyan na nakita ko sa komento na nagsasabi ngayon na dati silang DDS pero hindi na ngayon. At maraming mga sumagot sa kanila nagsabi na parehong kwento at lahat nagkukwento ngayon kung paano sila namulat, paano namulat ang kanilang mata at ano yung mga sitwasyon na nakatulong para na mamulat ang kanilang mata. Yan ang ina-attack ng mga DDS trolls ngayon. Kasi there is nothing more that the DDS trolls hate than a dating DDS. They want to discredit people that na nagising na. Kasi nga, ayaw nilang may mga mahawa pa at magising at mamulat ang mga mata. Kaya dinidiscredit nila, pinapalabas sila. Hindi naman daw DDS yung mga to. Nagpapanggap lang daw sila para mambudol na daw. Yun ang sinasabi nila.
Yun nga eh, like bago tayo pumunta sa mga manyakis, I'm sorry, bago tayo pumunta doon sa mga suntay, ano ka pa. Um, bago natin pag-usapan mga yan, I just want to go back to this. I think sobrang mahalaga talaga na engage natin yung ating mga kaibigan who are napakalakas dun sa mga vernacular, no? So kitang-kita ko dun sa mundo namin sa Ilocano world, 'di ba? Kung talagang na-dominate ng mga loyalist talaga yung ano yung political discourse dun eh. At dun naman sa Bisaya world, for some reason, of course, may advantage ang mga pro Duterte elements dahil organized sila, naging presidente si
Mm.
Duterte, vice president. But clearly hindi monolithic. In the same way ng mga Ilocanos, hindi lahat pro Marcos. If anything, among the pinaka-anti-Marcos, may Ilocano background. I think Professor Munsut, whom I'm gonna have on our Manila house soon, all-women panels na from now, bro. Wala na kayo, wala na yung mga toxic masculinity. Ilocano rin background niya. So like some of us who are Ilocano background, kami pa nga yung pinaka-critical sa Marcoses throughout the years. So ganun din, hindi monolithic eh. I mean, I have many Bisaya friends from across the political spectrum. Really, really nice, amazing people. We just have to hear more about them. So ano siguro ano sa tingin mo ang best way forward na hindi lang mga mas maraming kababaihan pero mas marami sa ating mga kababayan. Mga version mo, mga Kristan sa Mindanao, Kristan sa Iloilo, mga Kristan sa iba't ibang lugar. Mga ganito ang dapat gawin natin, no? Yung iniisip ko later this year kung siguro pwede tayo pumunta across the country, mag-collabs tayo like doon sa kanilang mga syudad at mga magagandang lugar, no? At siguro matutunan tayo ng konting Bisaya and Ilongga and other beautiful languages from the south and center of the country. So sa tingin mo, Brian, if we have stronger, more proactive na mga kapatid natin na Bisaya speaking so that they can also show the other side of this discussion and also to engage at sasabihin nila, meron din tayong mga alternatibo. Hindi lang mga Duterte ang dapat maging solid South representative. I know, medyo sensitive issue yan. You can see me now.
Yeah, actually,
Ayoko maging persona non grata lalo. But mahalaga yan eh. Kailangan natin engage yung mga kapatid talaga natin eh. Yeah.
well, tanong ko sa'yo, Richard, are you willing to, to go to, let's say, Davao or to hold parang sit down there and a live forum, parang ganon? Kasi,
Marami akong kaibigan sa Davao. I mean, Ateneo de
ayun,
Davao, mga...
kung marami tayong kaibigan doon, why
Oo.
not?
Pero
Diba?
syempre,
Pero,
sensitive pa moments ngayon, maybe kung hindi Davao, yung mas maraming mga magagandang lugar sa Mindanao, Jensan, I would love to be back in Marawi, Zamboanga. Ang dami mga magagandang lugar. And legally, hindi naman binding yung mga persona ng grata. Na yan. Purong talo na nga yung mga nagpersona ng grata sa akin or naging irrelevant. And by the way, hindi ako persona ng grata sa Davao. So thank you sa mga responsible people there na alam nila napakatabad yung idea na ipepersona ng grata may isang tao based on twisted stuff. Pero hindi lang sa beautiful Mindanao, even sa Visayas region, I think we have to engage.
yes.
We have to do more talks in Cebu. I've had fantastic times. At alam natin sa Cebu is parang ano yun eh, parang purple state yun, di ba? May mga DDS, pro-DDS, may hindi pro-DDS. And Cebu is what? Second biggest vote-rich province. We have to do more there. Iloilo, Cebu, many big cities in Mindanao. Yeah, actually, isa sa plano ko yan eh. To go around there, kausapin sila, pakinggan ang mga kaibigan natin. At saka, matututo rin tayo parang town hall meeting style, no bro?
Yeah, actually, you're right. Let's push for that. Tingin ko naman kaya yun, and I think that's a welcome change, and it's good for the people na makita din tayo on the ground at makipag-engage sa atin at makapagtanong. At para sa ganun, lalo pa nga lumawak ang mensahe na gusto nating ipalabas dito.
At matuto rin tayo sa kanila. Ako,
Yes,
time na
of course.
pumunta ako sa Mindanao, sa Davao, sa Jensan, sa iba't ibang lugar sa Marawi. Ang dami kong natutunan dun sa ating mga kaibigan. At sana ma-appreciate din nila na bukas tayo to learn from them, to hear their side of the story. Ang problema kasi parang nasa silos tayo. Yung mga taga Manila may sariling mundo, yung mga taga ganito may sariling mundo. Sana mag-engage tayo more across the political spectrum and geography across the country, lalong-lalo na palapit na tayo sa election period. Dami na naman na, sabi ko, ideally si Bam. Oy, thank you pala kay Senator Bam at mga kaibigan natin dyan, lahat ng mga nag-greet sa birthday natin. Thank you bro, by the way, for your greetings sa birthday and all, and lahat ng mga nagpadalang flowers and all of these things kahit napakalamig at freezing cold tayo dito. Kamusta naman yung episode with Nikki, who is another rising
Yep.
superstar, napaka-progressive na ekonomista or economics, soon ekonomista, God willing patapos na yata siya sa economics masters niya. So, what about that? How did that one go?
With Nikki naman, it was very good. She's actually a very shy person, very introverted. Kaya matagal, ako daw yung una niyang ginawang podcast at matagal niya pinagdebate kung papunta nga siya o hindi. Kasi nga, introvert talaga si Nikki. Hindi nga niya binalak talagang gumawa ng itong mga vlogs niya. At niya na-realize kung gaano kalaki yung impact na nagawa nung kanyang mga vlogs. Ngayon, ang maganda dito ay pag nakita mo si Nikki, she is a student right now. if I remember correctly, nagma-master siya ata. And the master in
Oh, ng
economics.
economics. Pero tapos na yata siya sa comprehensive exam niya. So almost patapos na kandidato na siya for Masters of Economics. So congratulations, advance to her.
Yeah. And ang maganda dito is you have somebody who's well-educated, well-read, naintindihan niya yung mga historical mga analogies and his basically the the theories that she talks about or the ideologies ay ano may basehan naman. For example, a basic book that I think every political science student should read is Why Nations Fail. Nabasa niya yun, naintindihan niya yung epekto ng inclusive and extractive institutions, nakwento niya yun. So, maganda yung malalim yung kanyang pag-intindi sa sitwasyon natin sa Pilipinas. Although, I have to say that I may not completely agree with everything she says. She knows that, and we both know that. But at least kahit papano, we can discuss and debate in a proper way where people will learn from that discussion even if we don't agree. There are points that she even made that we were talking about na meron ka mga solusyon na mga pinopropose para maayos ang ating ekonomiya, para maayos ang ating politika na she doesn't agree with. For example, the solution na sinabi mo that the manufacturing is the key to fixing the problem. She doesn't think that that's really the solution. And that's maybe a simple way of trying to fix it, but it doesn't have enough nuance in it. Parang ganun. So, yun ang maganda sa usapan na ganun. She was willing to challenge me on my views, and at one point, medyo na hindi nga ako makasagot sa mga tanong niya, and I love that. I love that we can have these discussions. At maraming mga kabataan ang nakikinig sa kanya. Marami talaga.
Absolutely. I mean, she has gone well. I mean, in all due respect to Ateneo, I think their economics program is much more, I would say, heterodox. Hindi siya yung classic new liberal lang. So I look at their curriculum. I have some friends who have taught there. Of course, my colleague at Philippine Daily Inquirer, Professor Chalito Habito, has been there for a long time. I used to teach in political science department at Ateneo. They have very, very, very good program. Just a sidebar lang, no one says any single policy solves our problems. So the whole point about industrial policy, mahabang usapan is I said it's one way to deal with the problem, but I never said it's going to be the solution to any problem. That's something that every social scientist knows. But anyway, I'll put that aside. Just shout out later this month, we're going to have Winnie Munso at Heidi Mendoza on a special panel Manila House. Pag-usapan natin ito. And for those who didn't catch our episode on industrial policy, and we're going to have more. So most likely I'm going to interview Finance Secretary Go, a couple of other people na involved actually with industrial policy and finance later this month or next month, God willing, kung makabalik tayo sana matapos na yung mga gulo ngayon affecting all of the flights. So yeah, don't worry about it. But I'll park that there. Pero yun nga, I like more and more people coming out. Yeah, the why nations fail is I would say like parang kunyari sa taekwondo or karate, yun yung yellow belt, right? But there are many black belt stuff I can suggest
Yes.
far more advanced than that, including fantastic works na recently by ito mga Chinese American scholars, Korean American
Yep.
scholars. They know how development happens actually in late developing countries. So Yuan Yuan Ang from China who's at Johns Hopkins
Yes.
University. She's doing fantastic work, a good friend of mine. Of course, not Oxford, but in Cambridge on the other side. Ha Jung Chan. So there's so many people I can recommend who actually have better grasp. And then speaking of Turkish great economists, aside from Acemoglu, I recommend Harvard University's Danny Roderick. Very fantastic work also on industrial policy and development and all of that. So thank you so I look forward to discussing also these things with her. Pero nga, napansin mo ako, I try not to be super academic in my public engagement. Siniseparate ko yan, parang dito sa academic world in Oxford, whatever. I speak technical, but outside you have to say things in a certain way. Pero ako, bro, I'm so happy na we're getting millions of views dun sa mga industrial policy discussions natin. I mean, did you ever think na yung mga ganitong discussion would be even watched by a single person? So, ibig sabihin yan, people are hungry for solutions, for ideas, for debates and discussions.
Yep.
Kaya tuwan-tuwa ako ito sa mga interaction natin, bro. You bring your expertise, your knowledge, your experience, your common sense, among other things. And speaking of common sense, what the heck is going on with Bong Sontai? What's going on with... Safe na ba si Jinggoy? Ano na naman, nakakalat na naman si Jinggoy? What's going on, bro?
Alam mo, ang problema natin kasi sa ating mga mambabatas, ay bumababa na talaga yung kalidad. At nakikita natin to sa mga tulad ni na Bong Suntay, tulad ni na Jinggoy Estrada. Una si Bong Suntay nga, lumabas nga yung kanyang terrible analogy. Maybe he was trying to be funny. I think he thought it was witty nung binanggit niya yon. Pero nag-backfire. At ang problema dito ay imbis na mag-apologize siya lang, nag-double down pa itong si Bong Suntay. Hindi lang siya nag-double down ha. Gumawa pa siya at the end because of the pressure ng non-apology. So nag-apologize siya for people that got offended. For the women that got offended, I apologize. But I'll stick with my statement. That's not an apology. You don't apologize na sa mga na-offend sa sinabi mo. You apologize because you made that statement. I apologize for my statement. Hindi I apologize for the people that are offended with my statement. Iba yun eh. So yun yung problema kay Bong Suntay. Ngayon, ang mas malala pa ay yung mga trolls na sinakyan pa to. At dinepensahan pa si Bong Suntay kung siya nga hindi niya madepensa ang sarili niya. Na sinasabi nga nila, may malala dyan, yung mga ito sinasabi, paano kung nag-imagine ako na nag-desire ako, uminit ang katawan ko, gusto ko mang-rape ng babae, masama ba yun? Hindi. Guess mo kung sino pa yung nagsabi nun? Si Topacio. Topacio was even worse. Topacio even said to Jasmine Curtis Smith, bakit daw si Jasmine nagre-react na ganyan? Nagbibikini photos daw siya. Kasi ano gusto niyang mangyari? Nagbibikini. Siyempre, pag nanasahan daw siya ng mga kalalakihan, parang pambihira
Parang
talaga
victim
doon si
blaming ata
Topacio.
yan, medyo gaslighting, victim blaming. Pero tanong ko lang bro, bago tayo pumunta kay Mark Gambo, ating resident showbiz expert, and Team Richard Gomez, no? Kung ako, Bam, ideally, Richard Gomez. No, pero Chris, tanong ko lang, bakit kung sino pa yung mukhang yung pa yung no? Chris, bakit ganun? Kung sino pa yung mga mukhang yung pa yung mga It's unfair. Pangit ka nga sa labas, pangit pa yung loob mo. I mean, ano namang redeeming element dyan? Tapos
Ah,
yung brief mo pa nasa labas, yung Superman style. Like,
pero alam mo, banggitin ko lang na yun ang yan ang problema natin sa moralidad ng ating lipunan ngayon ay umabot tayo sa punto dahil, and I'm going to say talaga, I really believe that we need to be dead do 35. I read this somewhere. I forgot who said it on social media. Maganda yung kanyang punto dito na dahil kay Duterte, bumaba talaga ang moralidad ng ating mga kababayan na umabot tayo sa punto ngayon na yun na nga, rape jokes, patayan, are normalized and are even celebrated at some point. And people will double down sa mga ganitong mga ugali at pananalita. At grabe talaga kasi they objectify women. Bastos yung dating na yun eh. And itong si Topacio, para sa akin, ayoko talaga pansinin dahil yung mga tulad niya ay nagkulang sa pansin. Ginagawa niya to dahil gusto nga niya mag-react tayo eh. Kaya ayoko bigyan siya ng reaction kasi sinasadya niya to dahil gusto niya mabigyan ng atensyon sa kanya. Kaya mas malala pa yung sinabi niya kaysa yung sa sinabi ni Suntay. Yun lang yun. At para sa mga iba pang mga trolls dyan na nagdedepensa sa ganitong ugali, alam mo, hindi ko alam kung ba't nila maintindihan to eh. Hindi yung pag-i-imagine yung problema. Ang problema ay yung pananalita. You're verbalizing. You're making a statement about what is in your inner thoughts. Hindi mo control ang isip mo at yung bibig mo. We are civilized, we live in a civilized society na dapat naman kung ano yung mga nasa imagination mo, keep it to yourself. Kung hindi mo magawa yun, may problema ka na talaga.
mga Mark, our resident showbiz expert, anong nangyari, Mark? Bakit di ba yung gas station ni yung
Oo, before yun nga yung
Ah,
issue niya eh.
Yun
Ewan
ko
ko kung
maalala
sinasadya
dalawa,
niya yun
yung
para,
Superman at saka yung gas station, no?
oo, yung akin to. Para malihis yung issue. Before kasi, nai-issue siya sa lalaki. O, at least ngayon, sa babae naman siya.
Baka
Ang nakakainis
naman
pa dun sa
narrative shift ang nangyayari.
ang nakakainis pa dun sa mga unang batch ng interviews niya kasi he was trying to get out of the issue eh. Instead of just apologizing tapos na hindi eh, may nasabi pa siya na na dapat daw matuwa pa si Ann Curtis kasi he finds her beautiful. Yung mga ganong klaseng mga hirit ang talagang nagbaon dito kay Congressman Bong Suntay. At ang nakakalungkot pa nga diyan, sa Quezon City, isa pa siya sa main author nung Bawal Bastos Law. Okay, that's a great ordinance sa Quezon City na pinagbabawal yung catcalling, yung pambabastos sa mga kababaihan, sa kalsada, sa online. Isa siya sa mga main authors no na ginawa niya without fully understanding pala kung ano yung mga klaseng pambabastos na dapat iniiwasan. And ayun, yun lang talagang dumikit sa kanya yung issue. At ayun nga at pag nakikita siya ngayon, yung kaagad yung pumapasok sa isip ng tao na pag-iisipan tuloy siya na either manyakis o either bastos. Kaya hopefully he could learn his lesson na and be more sensitive. Kasi yung asawa niya, 'di ba naglabas din ng statement yung asawa eh. Yung asawa apologize to Ann Curtis
Tinanggap ni Ann Curtis.
at
Yung
tinanggap
ng
ni Ann
asawa,
Curtis.
hindi yung kay Suntay.
Oo eh. When you think about it, kung tinanong lang sana ni Bong Suntay yung kanyang misis, kung kinonsulta lang niya tungkol dun sa mali ba yung nasabi ko, ano ba yung de sana na-explain sa kanya nung asawa niya. Pero hindi eh. More on pride yata yung pinapairal niya. Kaya lumaki ng ganyan. Instead of ang focus natin sa impeachment lang, sa kanya napunta tuloy yung malaking atensyon dahil din dun sa kagagawan niya. Kaya ang nakakalungkot pa, 'di ba naglabas ng statement si Ann Curtis. She's not accepting yung non-apology ni Bong Suntay. Inaatake siya ngayon ng mga ilang DDS na malaking vloggers nila. Sila Tio, sila Sas, sila Joey. Sinasabi nila na 'di ba dati nagbibikini ka, kumaga pinagnanasahan ka ng mga lalaki, nagposting ka sa ganitong advertisement ng alak. So more on victim blaming pa rin eh. Na of course it's never an excuse para bastusin kahit sinong babae. And sinasabi naman ni Ann, this is more than just yung sa kanya eh. This is a learning experience para sa mga maraming Pilipino at sa maraming katulad ni Bong Suntay na hindi na nababagay ngayon yung mga ganong klaseng pambabastos sa mga kababaihan. Dapat nirerespeto, dapat hindi ino-objectify, and lalo na from yung mga public officials and yung mga forums na sa government na dapat ay mga formal.
Ikaw, Chris, I mean, so what should be the way forward na hindi natin ma-normalize yung mga ganitong kabastusan? Kasi, aminin natin talagang matagal na tong problema na tong toxic masculinity, pero talagang lumala nung panahon ni Duterte. Speaking of Duterte, syempre nasa ICC ako the other week lang. Medyo
Wow.
malungkot din ako kasi kawawa rin ng ICC ngayon para yung mga sanctions ng US, o iba
Yeah.
spokesman nila, ang daming abogado na ayaw magtrabaho dyan. Kaya hindi ko alam kung tatagal pa tong ICC na to. Kaya i-juice talaga nila si Digong. Yun na nga
Yeah.
baka yun na yung huling embimbo nila. Although, hindi ko sinasabi yan para lumabas si, Bato, hindi ko pa rin si Bato. But to be honest, i-juice talaga si Digong. Ito na yung huling, nila, big prize. So, sorry na lang talaga. Wala nang uyan kay Digong. But, yun nga pero itong kabastusan really, really went to the next level. Kumbaga malala na itong problema na itong toxic masculinity, pero lumala talaga yan ng next level. When Digong would make all these disgusting jokes, disgusting kadiri jokes. Sabi nga, kung sino pa yung yung pa yung manyakis, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Openly, sa TV, kung saan-saan, sa secretary, sa kanito, sa ganito. Ano kayang pwede natin gawin para of course yung mga ating mga matapang na women activists, feminist kaibigan natin, they're doing their part. Pero tayo mga lalaki na not necessarily feminist, although I see myself as feminist. Ano kayang dapat gawin natin or dapat ba may cancel culture? Obviously, ayaw natin ng cancel culture, but there has to be consequences, right? There have to be consequences.
Well, for Bong Suntay, first of all, he really has to face the ethics committee, and the ethics committee should sanction him para matuto tong taong to. Kasi hindi yan matututo, number one. Number two, it is a criminal offense. Although the penalty is light, I believe it's for the first offense, it's only 1,000 pesos and parang 60 hours or 60 days of community service. I don't remember exactly what it is. Kahit na maliit lang yung kailangan niyang maramdaman pa rin yun. para sa akin, para naman kahit papaano matuto siya. Ngayon, para sa lahat ng kalalakihan dito na nanonood ngayon, ito masasabi ko sa inyo, maraming mga ganitong ugali o pananalita na nangyayari sa mga private chat groups. At ako mismo, I used to be a part of a chat group na ilan sa mga kasama namin doon ay bastos. At pag ganun, nagsasalita na lang ako, sabi ko, uy pare, wag naman tayong ganyan. Yung parang ganun magsalita. Ay napapaaway ako sa mga iba sa kanila kasi karamihan sa kanila ay naniniwala na okay lang ang ganyang pananalita at ganyang ugali. At kailangan talaga we stand up and defend yung mga kababaihan. Okay? They need to be defended. Hindi natin pwede tanggapin itong ganitong ugali o pambabastos. And I've seen that in chat groups. I have heard friends of mine, some of them speak like that about women. I will call them out. Yun ang kailangan natin gawin bilang tunay na lalaki. Kasi kung hindi, alam mo, lalong lalala itong problemang to kung hindi nila ma-realize, mali yung ganong pananalita at yung ganong ugali. There is no place for that anymore. And we have to change the way we parang siguro nga para tumaas ng konti yung level ng ating moralidad ulit. Umayos na naman to. Ayusin na natin sarili natin. Itigil na natin tong pag-normalize ng ganitong ugali.
Ikaw bro, Mark, since wala pa si Fast, inaintay ko sana si Attorney Pal season.
Oo, yung parang local eh.
Ay, yung
Kasi mas
medyo,
alam ni...
yan ang pantapat na kay Topacio at saka pero pati si Jinggoy, safe na ba si Jinggoy, Mark? Safe na ba si
Hindi
Jinggoy?
din eh.
Ito na ba yung sign na
Hindi
safe?
mapigilan ni Senator Jinggoy eh. Kasi
Oh.
nakakita na
Basketball ba to? Basketball star?
Ay, hindi ano ba sport ng babae? Football ba? Hindi ko sure, hindi ko
Mahilig sa
maalala.
matangkad si di ba?
Oo. Ewan ko, di maiwasan ni Senator Jinggoy eh. Para, hindi kaya parang yung si Congressman Suntay, si Senator Jinggoy, mga nai-issue sa di ba may nai-issue sa lalaki din or sa din. Hindi kaya ito para maligis.
Are you
Di ba?
implying conspiracy theory na overcompensation? Chris, do you buy that theory na para hindi ka mag-ano ka na lang para
O mag-toxic masculinity ka na lang. Mabuti nang mabash ng pagiging toxic masculinity kaysa ma-reveal yung ayaw ma-reveal. Ganun ba yun? Hindi ko alam, hindi ko alam.
Pala yung ma-reveal, ayaw ma-reveal. Si Sir Ronald, pati na sinasabi. Ikaw, Chris, do you buy that theory? Hindi naman mala Epstein tong sinasabi natin, pero
Do I buy it? Alam mo,
compensation theory.
ako kasi I don't alam mo, hindi ako conspiracy theorist in a way. Yung parang gusto ko talaga may matibay na ebidensya. Imbes na haka-haka. Although, having said that, mukhang maraming ebidensya kasi that proves the other reality that the open secret that people know about Jinggoy. I think lang, yung binanggit niya yun, ganun talaga lang ang kanyang ugali at pananalita. Whether he is AC or DC, it doesn't matter.
Yung culture eh.
Pero safe siya. Pero safe ba siya?
Safe ba? Ang hirap sabihin eh. Pero kahit I'll give you an example na lang. Ganito na lang ha. Kung whether lalaki o bading o trans ang magsalita ng ganyan tungkol sa isang babae, mali pa rin yun. Tapos yung pagbabanggit niya, nasabi niya, pwede kang maging girlfriend na lang. Baka pwedeng maging girlfriend ka ni Kiko Pangilinan na isang may asawa. That's just improper talaga. Yun lang. Yung parang, dude, you guys are senators. Please naman, ayusin naman yung mga... That was absolutely uncalled for. Yun lang yun. Whether he did it to try to show that he's some sort of a toxic masculine or not, irrelevant. The point is, mali yung ganyang pananalita, line of questioning at ugali.
Naabutan ko pa din, Richard, yung yung ganyang machismo culture, yung mga palibhasa lalaki, yung mga ganong klaseng shows na na kasabay din yan doon sa sa mindset na unacceptable kapag anak mo is gay, bading. It's the same machismo culture na na growing up, ganun lumaki. Kaya medyo nagigets ko kung saan nanggagaling minsan. Pero, yun nga, buti naman nasi-shame, kumaga, nasi-shame campaign na ng mga netizens, ng mga bata. At umaayos naman unti-unti. Pero yun nga, hindi mo maiwasan yung mga tulad ni Alvin Aragon, di ba? Na victim blaming. O tapos hindi ina-accept kung yung anak ay LGBT o trans. So hindi meron pa ring mga ganong mga individual na that would still want to cling to dun sa dating kultura natin.
Ako, I'm not for cancel culture, pero call out culture, I'm for that. I-call out talaga. Uy, pare, bastos na. Huwag naman tayo bastos. Yung gano'n. Okay
Yeah.
lang. Pero hindi, pare, hindi ka na tapos ng karir mo, gano'n. Huwag gano'n. Magba-backlash din yan. Kaya nga naging pro-Trump lahat yung mga ibang comedians. Dahil
Yes.
na-cancel sila. Huwag naman cancel. Call out. Call out culture. Kung mali ang ginawa, pwede naman mag-ayos eh. Lahat naman tayo nagkakamali. Ako nga, di na ako nag-Human Development Index and kasi I mean, I still maintain I had no bad intention. But after that, okay, message God, I'll be more double sensitive. Tapos, move on, di ba? Ganon. Call out. Hindi cancel culture. Yun yung mali, yung cancel culture. Magba-backlash talaga yan. Lalong sisikat na nga yung ibang tao or sumikat. Lalo nga ako na after hindi na. But anyway, let's go to the last part because I know Chris has to move forward and then Mark, stay ka muna. Hinintay pa natin si Attorney Falses. But Chris, balikan ko itong issue na to. Ito na, March na tayo. Hopefully makauwi na ako. So nasaan na tayo sa debate na yan? Because last year, we were talking about Riza Hontiveros as ideally the best possible standard bearer. And Riza Hontiveros, kapaisis ko, happy birthday din sa kanya, made it clear na she's still open to be the standard bearer. And yet, over the past month, grabe itong ni Lenny talaga, no? Like, medyo, Lenny's not even saying she's considering it. Pero just Lenny coming back into the discussion, nagpapa-interview lang here and there, immediately makita mo yung reaction, excitement na baka it's talagang Lenny na talaga or it should be Lenny talaga. And then I know na medyo sablay, to be honest, kaibigan, good friend natin si Senator Bam, medyo sumablay siya doon sa ideally, I don't think it was ideal. But Bam is also very strong. And I can see if Lenny doesn't run, Lenny would support Bam because Bam was the one who led yung kampanya ni Lenny noong 2016 successful against BBM, yung Pink Movement, siya pa rin yung campaign manager. 2025, number 2, 20 million votes. Wala siyang ginastos. Bam, I think ang pinakamataas yung approval rating ng mga senador na nakikita natin. I'm not saying he's better necessarily than Kiko or Risa, but it shows na meron siyang appeal across the political spectrum, potentially among even soft DDS, to be frank about it. So, nasaan na tayo in terms of our headspace and calculations? Chris, where do you stand on this debate, this issue?
So right now, I think that Lenny Robredo has not decided either way if she's going to run or not. Alalahanin mo that she just became mayor less than a year ago. So, naintindihan ko yung sinasabi niya na bakit natin pinag-uusapan itong pagiging presidente kung ako kakapasok ko lang bilang mayor, ang dami kong kailangan gawin. And I think she's very sincere about that. Now, having said that, I do think that naririnig niya yung clamor for her to run. At mahirap ignore yung ganyang kalakas na sigaw ng taong bayan para tumakbo siya. At eventually, I think by the way na sumagot siya, pag pinakinggan mo, read between the lines, malaking chance, tingin ko na she will heed the call of the people at tatakbo siya para bilang presidente. Especially pag tinignan mo yung mga lumalabas sa surveys and everything, she is a very strong contender if not even a winner. At yun na ang tingin ko mangyayari. I think Lenny will eventually change her mind and run for president. Now,
you're willing to bet, parang Bitcoin, you're willing.
I am. I am willing to bet on that. I'm willing to bet na...
Actually, I agree with you, bro. I think there's more than 50% chance it's Lenny na, and Bam is the alternative. And Bam saying he will not run as VP for Sara, maybe it's a way of saying he will run as VP for Lenny.
Sure. And then with Bam naman, alam mo, nung ginawa niya yung statement na yun, as much as I do not agree with it, tignan mo yung mga DDS trolls. Tignan mo, they're also supportive of Bam. They're giving him praises. At sinasabi nila, tama si Bam. Tama, ganyan dapat magsalita ang mga senador. And his strategy worked. because now the DDS bloc is saying they're supportive of BAM. BAM's not going to lose our support by what he's
But
doing.
if Bam goes against Sara, they'll still vote for Sara. It doesn't make sense.
Okay. So here's the thing. Remember that there are two factions in the DDS camp. There is the faction of Digong Duterte and then there's the faction of Sara Duterte. They're not they have overlapping circles, but they have their own blocks as well. The block that's with Digong will not vote for Sara if there is a candidate that they like na pwedeng tumabla kay Sara, BAM will get some of those votes. So that's the good thing about what BAM is doing. I don't agree with it, but I understand that he's being political. I don't mind whatever it takes for me. I'm a little bit of a pragmatist here na pag yan ang gagana at para makakuha ng maraming boto, then so be it at this point.
Yeah. Let's go back to that, Mark, because pinag-usapan natin ito with due respect to everyone else. We were talking about this, Mark, 2021 pa lang when Isko Moreno was getting the support of some of the massive Duterte supporters, Mocha Uson, yung best friend natin si Banat Bay, like those people clearly are not pro Sara. Maybe closer to Bongo. If Bongo doesn't run for president, I can imagine these people not voting for Sara and potentially be open to even vote for BAM. Of course, I'm not saying that with complete pleasure, but I'm just saying from a tactical point of view, do you think he could get that Isco base that Sara was not able to get or Marcos was not able to get in 2022? And maybe that base is even bigger now.
Ang tinitingnan ko, not exactly along those lines na Bongo and yung parang 20, but more on the soft Duterte supporters eh. Mas yun yung nakikita ko. Kasi
Yeah,
marami
i-describe
lalo na
natin,
sa
sorry Mark, i-describe, what is a soft Duterte? A soft Duterte is someone na gusto niya law and order, someone na not necessarily believes sa mga human rights due process discussion, medyo
someone
ayaw
who
sa mga
like
dilawan, liberal and all, but gusto rin nila someone reasonable, someone competent, ayaw naman nila yung kabastusan, all of the craziness of DDS and all, right? Like, let's just clarify what we mean by soft DDS.
someone who likes Duterte but is open to someone else. Yun. So, pwede mo pang masway. They could be swayed maybe by Atulfo or ewan ko, baka someone from the pink side. So, mas ganun ko tinitingnan. Pero kasi pag nakita nila na masyadong anti-Duterte, baka doon sila medyo na-turn off o medyo na-off. So, kung medyo nakita nila, like si Bam na hindi naman masyadong anti, baka mas open sila or baka mas magaan sa kanilang mag-switch or subukan itong si Bam. So, mas ganun yung nakikita ko in terms doon sa ano kasi yung sa ngayon medyo because of what happened nga doon sa mag-1 year na sa dahig ni Digong, kahit yung hati doon sa kay Bongo medyo nawala yung linya kasi everyone felt na everyone is against Marcos and doon sa mga sa admin niya because of what happened. So I think pero doon sa mga soft Duterte na supporters baka doon mas makakuha. And marami-rami yun. Marami din yun. And tama yung sinabi mo, yung iba gusto yung peace and order, yung iba gusto yung, gusto siguro parang kamay na bakal type, pero not necessarily
EJK, massive killings. At ayaw pro-China. Ayaw rin nila pro-China na
yun ang hindi mapanalo na issue.
Na ayaw nila yung pro-China side ni Digong or yung mga pero gusto nila yung law and order. Diba? Yung mga ganun. And Bam, Chris, I mean, if Lenny, like, do you think Lenny could win over those soft DDS voters before we go to Riza? Because I think we have to be fair to Riza. I also have a theory why Riza also could make sense. To be fair. Baka ito na naman si Richard, nagpalit-palit na naman. Hindi. For me, Cora is still in this conversation, by the way, as a potential VP and breach candidate. And sorry, I want to also ask kasi we didn't do that episode. I wanted to do that episode. I don't know. You saw the map analysis I did, diba? Yung na-breakdown ko. I don't know if you guys seen that. Ang daming DDS na galit sa akin. Nakita mo yung Mark? Yung I have maps, yung electoral maps, yung mga alignments, realignments. Basically, nag-map breakdown ako. Also, this Lenny, Marcos, chummy chums, right? Is that signaling something that we have been talking about anyway openly for quite some time?
Well, for me, with regards to Lenny, wait, sorry, Lenny or Riza? Who did you want to comment
We'll talk
on?
about Riza last part na.
Okay.
But dito muna tayo. BAM, I think we all can agree, ang appeal niya is both pink and also soft DDS. Whether we
Mhm.
like it or not, it electorally, mathematically makes sense. But what about Lenny? Can Lenny win over soft DDS in ways that BAM can win? Assuming Lenny is still, kasi kung Lenny yung super excited yung pink base, given na yan. But you still cannot rely on that. You have to get the loyalist base, you have to get the soft DDS base. You need to create a coalition, a winning coalition,
Yeah.
right? So
Eh,
for me, BAM has a strong argument for a winning coalition, to be honest.
Nangyari kay Chris.
Chris, andiyan ka ba rin ba? Mark, you wanna comment while Chris is siguro medyo may connection problem. Ikaw,
Oo.
Mark, what do you think about Lenny dun sa soft DDS? What could be our strategy? And do you think you can... Oh yeah, andyan. You're back, Chris. Yeah, yeah. Can we get back to you, please?
yeah,
Yun
so
lang,
just
yun lang. Sige.
sige, go, Mark, you wanna go ahead muna?
No, no, no. Go ahead, Chris.
Sige, I'll just finish my train of thought. Yun lang. Na nakikita ko talaga dito, no, ay the loyalistas will support Lenny because they just don't want to have a DDS
No
or a
choice.
Duterte back in power. Yun lang yun. Bottom line, number one. Number two, maraming mga Duterte supporters that are supportive of Lenny. Remember that in 2022, there was the
Rosa.
Rosa movement. So there was that underground movement where they're trying to put them together. And remember that Sara Duterte did visit Lenny Robredo at ang daming praises siya sinasabi about Lenny right now. So her praises of Lenny are not going to help her. If Lenny decides to run, she's pretty much giving an endorsement to Lenny to her supporters. So meron sa kanilang ilan na sumusuporta kay Sara na, like you said, Mark, soft na itong mga to. Especially pag lumabas pa yung mga ebidensya na nagpapatunay na merong bilyon-bilyon ang mga Duterte at si Sara Duterte sa kanyang bank account, I guarantee you maghanap na sila ng kung saan sila pwedeng sumuporta. And if it's Lenny Robredo running, pupunta yan kay Lenny. Hindi lahat, but there will be a significant amount, enough to be able to push her to win. So she already has your 16 million base solid behind her that will still vote for her. Then you add the loyalistas, and then you add the ones that Sarah will lose when the impeachment evidence comes out.
Ikaw, Mark, before we go to the last part, Risa naman, discuss natin, balikan natin si Risa. Because I also have an argument for Risa. I'm just, hindi ako nag-endorse. I'm just looking at how each of them have strengths and weaknesses potentially here. Yes, Mark.
Um, ah, kay Lenny, of course, Lenny is still nasa top pa rin talaga siya among all the choices na hindi Sara Duterte. Pero ako, I'm worried lang talaga dun sa possible cap niya eh. Yung limit to hanggang saan eh. Kasi
Yung ceiling.
yung ceiling eh, because yun nga yung mga sa mga Duterte supporters ang tagal ng panahon na nag-aaway with Lenny eh, or like, so yung buong 6 na taon na sinisiraan nila si Lenny. So yun ang worry ko, pero I think ano naman eh, she's doing a great job sa Naga. Unti-unti she is kumaga breaking yung wall na yon, yung barrier na yon.
Now, let's go to the last part because I had a series of map. I'm going to do an analysis on that. If you look at Riza Ontiveros, she ran, what, 4 times for Senate, right? And what's interesting is that, so I had 2 maps, right? One map was, there are gray areas na parang swing states na hindi necessarily green na pro Duterte, hindi necessarily pink, hindi rin necessarily red. Definitely not red, but it's between pink and red na gray area. And then if you superimpose Riza Ontiveros, 2016 and 2020, she did very well in those areas. Western Visayas, for instance, even parts of Cebu. And in fact, one of the reasons where we started, Chris, no, kaya napaka-successful ni Risa was ang mga endorsers niya at mga kausap niya at mga surrogates niya, yung mga parang katulad ng the Bisaya vlogger mo, yung mga nagve-vernacular. No? So meron siyang mga
Mm.
partners at the regional level na in-endorse si Risa at may mga, I think, advertisement siya, may mga commercial siya na in
Yeah.
vernacular na hindi natin nakikita sa Manila pero meron doon sa Visayas and Mindanao. So that's why she did very well. Now, for Risa, the argument will also be very strong. Kung hindi tatakbo si Lenny or Bam, automatically makukuha ni Risa yung vast majority. I don't think it's like yung mga pink Well, kung hindi Lenny Bam, kay Risa na ako. Sorry, kay Sara na ako. Of course not. Of course not. In fact, I talked to many people na loyalist. Gusto nila more si Risa. Because sabi nila, si Risa mas matapang pa nga against Duterte kaysa
Yeah.
kay Lenny or Bam, to put it mildly. Actually, mas ano sila, mas excited pa sila if Risa pa. Marami akong kilala na talagang right wing, loyalist, whatever. Gustong-gusto nila si Risa because Risa is a proven commodity in terms of holding it up. So, Risa has a strong argument. And as I said, she did also very well dun sa mga swing provinces or states na pinakita ko sa map. So, I'm gonna do a detailed analysis of that based on map analysis I'm doing with good friends of ours. So I think it's unfair also to dismiss Risa because automatically if Lenny or Bam don't run, the numbers will go to Risa. So it's just a question of agreeing sino maging standard bearer. Makukuha mo yung pink base. If not 100%, 90% pupunta kay Risa, alangan naman boboto sila kay Sara. And I don't think there'll be a third candidate na strong. And lastly, I want to add on this, sorry Chris, because you meet our good friend at ginagaya din ako ni Dina De Leon, ba't di kayo na ganyan? Of course, yung ating yung paborito natin, General Torre. Kamusta si General Torre? I said General Torre should not go for Senate. Number one, he'll not be safe as a senator if Sara is the president. We saw what they did. So Senate is not gonna get him. And I think he could be a strong bridge, a potential vice presidential candidate. He has Basilan connection. He can speak Waray. He can speak Bisaya. Of course, hindi siya bobotohin sa Davao. But Davao is not the entire Solid South. The Solid South has many gradations to it. Many people, I'm not gonna talk about more. I'm sure you also had your conversations with him. But ang basa ko, he could be also strong in some of the swing area. Western Visayas, part of Cebu, part of Mindanao, maybe Barm, right? I think Torre should be in this conversation too, if not presidential, potentially as a vice presidential bridge candidate. I want to end on this part because I think this is very important, Chris.
Yeah. So, okay. So, for Rizal Tiveros, ito yung masasabi ko sa inyo. Again, they've agreed na they will field one candidate. Even, I think, with the BBM, it sounds like they will field one candidate between the Pinks and the Loyalistas. From the way it sounds, if that happens and Risa is chosen to be the one that they're going to field, she will get the support of the Pinks, the Dilawan. She will get a lot of support because remember that when they did the survey of Sara Duterte getting 38 or 34%, or I don't remember, was it 34 to 38%? There was 40% undecided, knowing that Sara was running for president. And yet, they did not choose Sara. So, ibig sabihin nyo na undecided, hindi nila alam kung sino yung boboto nila, pero sigurado silang hindi si Sara Duterte. Kahit sabihin mo lang sa 40 may nakuha si Sara, another 5%, majority of that will go to whoever will be the unified candidate or the consolidated candidate na i-field nila yung isang yon. If that's Risa, hell, I have seen Risa go through fire. Okay? We have all seen that in the Senate hearings. Mag-isa siya doon, pinaglaban niya ang ating karapatan, laban sa mga pogos, laban sa mga dayuhan. Humarap siya at siya lang yung nag-iisang senador na nag-vote na hindi pwedeng bigyan ng Filipino citizenship itong dayuhan na mainland Chinese na mukhang may ties sa mga criminal syndicates. Siya lang ang isa-isang senador na talagang humarap at nag-question kay Duterte nung sa Senate hearing at tumayo doon at hinarap siya talaga at lumaban. Sa harap ng mga pambabastos na ginawa ni Sara Duterte, siya lang ang humarap na naglakas loob magtanong habang lahat ay takot at sumisipsip kay Sara Duterte sa buong Senado. Ganon katapang si Rizal Tiveros. She has my support. Now, again, I think I will let them decide who will run, who they think will run, and whoever it is, I encourage all Filipinos just to support whoever ang pipiliin nila. Now, with regards to General Torre, by the way, I'll be posting my interview with General Torre, which I'll be doing on Monday. And there, matatanungin nga natin sa kanya kung ano ba yung mga future plans niya, if any. Pero, Richard, para sa akin, I love it if he ran for senator. But yes, he could also run for vice president. Tama ka, may base siya. Pero if I were to choose a vice president for whoever is going to run for president, assuming it's either Lenny or Risa, I think Bam over General Torre. Para sa akin. But it depends. Say Lenny and Bam, I think it's a good tandem. But kung Riza, baka pwedeng General Torre. I'm not sure. So, pero as a senator, I'd love to see uh, General Torre as part of the Senate. I think he could do some good there as well.
Ikaw, Mark, last on this, and also maybe you want to add, we're not talking about Kiko. Kiko will also be another fantastic candidate. Kasi basically, ang mensahe natin dito is, kung sino sa kanila ang tatakbo, makukuha na nila yung basically a big part of both loyals and all. It really goes down to that 36% na undecided, diba? So, I don't buy this argument na, oh, sa survey, 2% lang si Risa, 3% lang si Bam, si Lenny, ganun. Yeah, but the moment hindi takbo si Lenny, pupunta sa kanya
Okay.
lahat.
Makukuha
Oo.
yung buong
Si
base, so
Sara,
automatic
sure
naman
na,
yun.
yun na yung block niya. Eh sila, syempre sa survey, magsisplit yan kasi hindi natin alam sino pang tatakbo. So kumbaga, medyo misleading yung surveys, not because the surveys are wrong, it's because the structure of the race is still incomplete. We don't know who's the standard bearer, di ba? Parang sinabi mo, ito yung standard bearer ng Republican Party, tapos may 3 Democrats. Syempre, magsisplit yung Democrat. Pero once isa yung standard bearer, makukuha nila lahat. Parang ganun eh. Of course, it's not a perfect analogy, but medyo misleading yung surveys na 3% lang si Riza, 2% lang si ganito. No, no, no. If Lenny doesn't run, it will go to them. If not
Will
100%,
go to Risa.
90%. And loyalists have no choice. They don't have a great candidate. They will have to support one of these top pick candidates, whether it's Bam, whether it's Lenny or Risa, right? So ikaw, where do you stand on this? And even Kiko, I say, has a very strong case. He ran for vice president. He's doing fantastic. In fact, siya yung aking, for me, the best performing senator over the past 6 to 8 months, to be honest. With all due
Ganda ng mga
respect,
ginagawa ni
sobrang
Sen
galing.
Kiko, lalo
Sobrang
na
galing
doon
ni
sa,
Kiko.
sa smuggling, sa agriculture. Si Senator Risa, sa mga kalye surveys, sa mga, ang nagiging challenge kasi is kumaga, walang question nga, she's a high-performing senator, maybe one of the top-performing senators. Pero hindi pa ganun yung pagtingin ng mga Pinoy as a presidentiable. Siguro it's a matter of choosing kung kung ano na yung pinaka-issue niya heading to 2028. Kung sa healthcare yan, kung sa peace and order. Napatunayan naman yan that she can di ba? Sa Pogo, sa yung kay Kibuloy, napatunayan naman niya na she can tackle any big issue na Pero siguro it's time to pumili na siya kung ano yung pinaka main issue niya heading to 2028 to show people, to differentiate her para to start developing her base. At yung sa isang another question is yung pagiging of course aktivista ni Senator Risa. Parang may mga ganong tanong na are we ready for a president na parang ganon yung style, ganon yung pero I think unti-unti people are opening up 'Di ba you see the likes of Eli San Fernando, mas umaano yung mga tao Siguro it's yung positioning niya for 2028. Yun, maybe she could kasi like yung kay Eli yung sa provincial rate, it is starting to gain steam na. It is being supported by the speakership sa so yung mga ganong klaseng issues, maybe pwede siyang pumili tapos yun yung maging battle cry niya heading for 2028 to put herself in a better position to become the standard bearer for the party. Pero yung challenge lang talaga sa ngayon, yun talaga yung nakikita ko na na senador yung tingin kay Senator Risa, not so much pa as someone na presidentiable. Pero si Lenny din naman, ganun din naman before. Diba? She was able to overcome that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much. I think we have covered a lot. Thank you, Chris. I know it's late evening there. Ang dami natin pag-usapan. The special Suntay edition. Wala pa rin balita kay Bato. Natanggal. I mean, why is Bato still a senator? Wala na siyang trabaho, di ba? Literal natanggalan ng lahat ng positions. So hopefully, I don't know kung mas lalabas si Bato. Which will end first? Trump's wars or Bato's coming out of his MIA? Kasi as we speak, Trump is now saying, we're looking forward to the great next change in Cuba. So my next chapter na tayo. We're already moving to the next conflict. Like,
Wow.
this is crazy. This is crazy. I was just talking to some Venezuelan expert other day. Yung Cuba daw, parang North Korea, you don't even know who's in charge. The suspicion is
Oh,
that in charge
wow.
is the grandson of Castro. So Yun, mas madaling ano yun yung Cuba eh. Although it's still a weird place. Mukhang they run plan, medyo hindi naging epic success. Medyo, I think medyo tagilid na at hindi ubra. But let's see. Lots of crazy things. Maraming salamat Chris, maraming salamat Mark, and maraming salamat in spirit and soul to Attorney Falsis who consistently has been missing our episodes. Parang malapit na tayo mag first year anniversary na wala si Falsis. But this is still a quad in spirit and in soul. So ituloy natin discussion natin. Let's set up something in person next time, no, Mark? And Mark, tama yung suggestion ni Chris. Let's engage more our Bisaya-speaking influencers, brothers and sisters, because they have fantastic stuff to share with us. And sana naman, para we can also learn more about this. And of course, we have to reach out dun sa ating mga kabayan across the country. Mag-tour kaya tayo, guys. Let's do a kind of
Game.
I won't say solid South tour, but let's just say the
Game.
pan-Pilipinas, pan-Philippines, no? Let's do Cebu, Iloilo. I think that would be fantastic, Mark, no? Let's set up something. Parang town hall
Lahat na,
podcast.
kahit sa
Oo,
norte,
3-on-3, mga ganon. 3-on-3.
Bicol.
Bicol, let's do across the country. Of course, Baguio, you're welcome to our place. Let's do one episode also in Baguio. Maybe Mayor Magalong can join us in. Medyo, ano na, si Mayor Magalong medyo nagtahimik na eh. So, I think okay na siya ulit. So, let's do one from north to south. Let's do a whole episode. Excited. Looking forward to that. God bless you guys. Have a lovely weekend and talk to you soon. God bless.
All right. Bye-bye.